Hello, Patrick Molloy here, anxiety and eating disorder specialist. So today I'd like to talk about something that's very much in the air at the moment, as today is early January, and it's about change. So at this time of year, many people are either they have made a New Year's resolution of some kind, or they've embarked on some sort of a change process, whether that's stopping smoking or losing weight, or deciding to finally get over a problem that they may have been carrying around for many years. And it just led to me contemplating a question that many clients wonder about. And it's about change, how change can take place. Now, obviously, if the change is something such as losing weight or stopping smoking, well, losing weight particularly, that's something that has to take place over time. Stopping smoking is something that happens in a moment, really, isn't it? There comes a point where the person makes a firm decision to stop, and the scales tip in favour of them becoming a non-smoker. In a way, it's restoring factory settings, really, because nobody was born a smoker. It's not as if babies come out of the womb and the first thing they reach for is a fag. So it's not a natural thing, it's a habit that's acquired. So in a way, when people stop smoking, they're restoring factory settings, as it were. Now, I often work with clients with eating disorders and anxiety disorders, and many of these people may have been struggling with their problem for many years, sometimes decades. And of course, if somebody's been struggling with something for decades, they've almost very often they've made a decision, well, this is it now, I'm going to have to live with it. And when they come to therapy, they're really looking for strategies to sort of mitigate the problem or help them to reduce the problem to some degree. And they're not even really contemplating the possibility of leaving the problem behind. I guess they're sort of figuring, I've had something for 10 years, it's part of me now, or I've had something for 5 years, it's going to take at least 6 months to get over this. And that can actually get in the way of change. So one of the things I like to discuss with clients is the fact that change does take place very quickly. In fact, the most impactful events in life usually happen quickly. Things that impact us and change us. So, for example, sometimes falling in love can happen very quickly. It can happen gradually too. Falling out of love can happen quickly if we find out that somebody's cheating on us or something like that. And in that moment, the scales tip in favour of this person's not for me anymore. Sometimes losing a job, for example, the day that we're told, sorry, we don't need you anymore, bang, that can have a massive impact on us and the rest of our lives and our sense of well-being and sense of purpose. Things like accidents can impact somebody, and before the accident they perhaps are fine, and after the accident perhaps they will suffer with post-traumatic stress. And trauma. I guess an accident is a kind of trauma, but if somebody's attacked or something, or their house is broken into and they're traumatized, then before that moment they were fine, before that event, could be a certain moment within the event or just after the event where it really impacts them, they may develop post-traumatic stress. So when I'm working with clients, often many of them will have been in therapy for years, and they may have their mindset may be, well, okay, I'll give this a try for a few months and see how it goes. And when I say to somebody, well, I would suggest that I need to see you 4 times. They look nonplussed. What? No, I need to see you 4 times. And in some ways it works against me, really. Perhaps I should say I need to see you 20 times. But what would we talk about for the rest of the time? And sometimes I would work with somebody once, but I would work with them for a whole day. And that whole day can be as impactful, in fact, often more impactful than months of regular weekly therapy. Because the way I describe it to clients is what we need to do. So we've got a problem, there's a problem. And what we need to do is need to tip the balance back in favour of you not having that problem anymore. And then maybe there are various things we need to do to bring that about. Now, if you're having weekly therapy, maybe there's a bit of a difference made, and then as you go and live your life, the stresses and the various familiar situations kind of reinstate it. You go back a week or so later, and we continue with our habit, or we continue feeling the anxiety and the worrying, etc., and we go back. So, but in intensive therapy, there's enough weight. We get to this point where we can do that actually sometimes in a day, quite often in a day, and it's wobbling, and we can tip things in favour of the change. And similarly, also in when I see somebody for a few weeks, for 4 weeks, I see the client for long sessions, and they're very intense and intensive. So I don't spend a few weeks wanting to get to know the person. I mean, usually most people are really nice. I can find something to like in everybody, really. But my job isn't to get to know somebody and be their friend. My job is to get into helping the person work through the problem so that we can solve it and clear it out. So we would just get straight into it and work through, do some intense work. Usually the first session's a couple of hours, sometimes more. And then I'd see them a week, and that would make because we're getting straight into working on the problem and not wasting any time or not spending ages trying to explain how therapy works, we can make a big difference. Maybe there'll be a little bit of a wobble back. Then the next time I see them, about a week later, again, we go very deeply into and intensively into the problem. And we're here. Maybe it's wanting to tip. But then often the third session and the fourth session is just about really reviewing and preparing the person to continue with their life without the issue. So change can be quick, and really, as I say, the things that change us, that have an impact on us, tend to be quick. Knowing that we can change quickly is a good thing to bear in mind, and is a good thing for anybody who's contemplating change to accept and understand, and to be prepared for the change to happen. Because sometimes, as I said earlier, sometimes people come to see me, and you can tell by the way they talk, they don't actually think they're going to change. They're just like, I'll give this a try. And then I say, no, I'm serious. I would fully expect that there's a very high likelihood that by the end of our time together that you won't have this problem. And they often find that surprising, which is odd. Would you take your car to the mechanics, and just to see if they could solve the problem, see if the problem can be solved, and not really think they're going to fix your car? Well, you wouldn't, would you? And it's odd that in therapy there's that kind of a vibe around to it. Now, in therapy, we can't guarantee anything because it's a two-way. It's about two-way communication, isn't it? So if somebody's going to turn up at therapy and not engage and not be prepared to respond and be open to what we're doing, then there's nothing going to happen. And if that does happen, I politely suggest that we should curtail therapy, and sometimes then the person decides, oh, actually, all right, yeah, I will sort of participate. So nobody can guarantee anything. But there's certainly, if somebody's prepared to engage with the therapeutic process, which in my case is a little bit unusual, but people get their head around it fairly quickly, then there's a high chance that they will change, and change quickly. Anyway, That's all for today. Patrick Molloy, anxiety and eating disorder specialist. I'll sign off. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments to make, or you're interested in whether I might be able to help you or not, by all means feel free to reach out. Bye for now.